This is Entrepreneurial Minds, episode number 4. Duh, duh, duh.
Boom! Here we go. Episode number 4. We back with y'all with another one.
Hey, we are back. What's going on, world?
It's your boy Gary here. Hold on. It's your boy Gary Anthony Alfred II. I'm dropping the whole government on y'all now, boy.
Hey, I like it. It's your boy King Arthur. Your Highness is back for another great episode. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, here we go. Episode number 4. Today we got Justice Will-Iam Bey. Did I say that right?
I hope you said it right. He'll correct us if you did.
Yeah, it's showing a will, right? We just call him Justice. So either way, he on the show today, man. He dropped some good stuff, man. It was actually a really, really good interview. It really shows the entrepreneurial mind when you fall from making a whole lot of good money to hurt, you know what I'm saying? And then your mindset don't change. You still have the same mindset. It's a little better. You've learned, and now you know some of your mistakes, but your mindset is still striving on, this is where it needs to be. This is how it needs to be. I need to read. I need to do this. I need to make these sacrifices. And that's good. And that's what this show is about. Entrepreneurial mind.
Yeah, man. Show the people how he dealt with some of the adversity and how he kept on striving to be the greatest man he can be. So that's what we all try to bring to the world. We really appreciate him.
Showing up, dude. Showing up.
And Gary, before we get too deep in, I want to say something to the listeners we had come out and listen to us, and all our subscribers and people downloaded. We want to say thank you. We appreciate you. Keep coming back. What's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. How you doing this evening?
Cool.
Okay, Gary, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. What's going on, Justice? How you feeling, man?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good. Just tightening up some coding on the website, trying to get that looking right.
I noticed that. That's one thing. I went there a little while back, and I just went there again today. I was looking like, oh, hold on, this is different.
Yeah. Right now, it's a cross between two different, types of sites. There's a WordPress bootstrap theme, that has the directory and the database all in it right now. But what we're trying to do is phase away from the WordPress and do custom database management. That way we won't have to worry about theme updates and all this and all that. It'll all be proprietary.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Justin. Did you ever get in contact with my homeboy? What's his name? Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence is. Right now he's currently working on building one of the databases for the businesses and organizations that we have listed. And then after that, we're going to work on a database to facilitate the sharing of information, like your HBCUs, or other organizations that do community mentoring or community development, anybody who's into agricultural development. And keep in mind, all of this information and resources is going to be dealing with our people, the Moors or so-called Black or African American.
All right. Hey, Justice. All right. So before we get too far here, because we're talking about stuff here that the listeners won't even know what's going on. Why don't you tell everybody what is it that you do? Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I am Justice Bey, and I'm a Moorish American. I just found out that recently, I got into Moorish science. For the longest time, I thought I was, Black or African American, but I was into real estate development, flipping houses for different buyers and investors, as well as remodeling houses and commercial properties as a business. And, once the housing sector kind of fell with the recession, the popping of the bubble from Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, I decided to go ahead and try to diversify my funds so that I wouldn't put all my eggs in one basket again. I've had all types of different jobs in my life. I currently have a job at Liberty Tax. I work for them in the corporate, in the call center. So, I'm blessed to have that as far as stability, but, everybody needs to be striving for something on their own. So in entrepreneurship, that's kind of what I'm trying to do now, is build myself back up to the status I fell from. And the biggest pain that I feel from losing, the status that I had, the financial status that I had, is that it wasn't my fault. That recession and that whole housing sector that crashed, that was due to outside influence, something that I had no control over. So to make a long story short, I'm into entrepreneurship. I'm business savvy. I've had several businesses over the last 15 years. Some have been successful. Some have not been, some have been not so successful. But I try to tell anyone that's thinking about getting into business, it's just like riding a bike. If you fall, you just dust yourself off and try again, learn from your mistakes, and sooner or later you're popping wheelies and doing handstands,
Definitely. All right. Now, so you done had multiple businesses, so we're definitely going to start all the way from the beginning, and we want to hear about, the very first one. What got you started?
Well, to give a little bit of personal, history, I ended up getting incarcerated at a very young age, 16 years old. I was breaking into houses and, doing vandalism and fighting in the streets and all that kind of nonsense. So when I was 16, they finally caught up to me and they tried me as an adult and sent me to prison, where I pretty much stayed until I was 22. I was out for 8 months. I got out when I was 18 and a half. I turned 19 and ended up going right back for another 3 years. So from 1991 to 1997, I was incarcerated, all except for 8 months. And so getting out at 22, I started getting into the workforce, and I had, like I told you, I had plenty of jobs, many, many different jobs, from framing houses, roofing, to doing installation, to doing telemarketing, to doing fast food, landscaping, concrete paving, asphalt marking. The list goes on and on and on. So all of these jobs that I had, and the reason why I kept going through jobs is because I was looking for an opportunity to advance. My family's already into business. So I always had an inkling that I wanted to get into business, but I didn't have the balls to just get out and do it without having, everybody says you got to have a business plan. You need a 5-year projection. You need to have these funds together and this and that. So I had this big cloud of confusion going about me that kept me from just doing it. So anyway, the last job that I had was working for a remodeling company, and he kept dangling the carrot in front of my face saying, yeah, well, you'll be running the crew. You'll be getting 1/3 of the contract. So all of a sudden, his brother, who was working for UPS for 20 years, quit UPS to come down and work for him. And he asked me, my boss asked me, he says, hey, I need you to train my brother up and get him where you're at. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, this guy wants me to train his brother to take my job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I continued to work for a couple of weeks, and after that, man, I went down to the courthouse. I paid $40 for a business license and $10 for, registering my name. And I made $170,000 that year. Now, you said go back to the beginning. I told you about my situation, my youth, where I spent. And I told you coming out, I got many, many different jobs, and none of them really gave me what I was looking for as far as financial freedom. Now, that job I was just telling you about with the tile and remodeling, that was my third business. I had two prior businesses before that. Yeah, that was my third business. Prior to that business, 2 years prior to that, I started two businesses at the very same time. Those were my first two businesses. At the same day, I got two business licenses, registered two trade names, and it was all tied to me as the sole proprietor. It wasn't an LLC or a full corporation or anything like that. Now, one of the businesses was called JR Safety Products. And what I did is I sold self-defense equipment like batons, Q-batons, knives, pepper spray, mace, tasers, all types of things like that. Surveillance equipment, hidden cameras, we call them nanny cams. And it did pretty good. One of the reasons was that I was doing security as well. I was a bouncer at clubs. So I sold all the bouncers, things like close quarter combat gloves and retractable batons and things like that. So, you know, cameras for the clubs and things. I was making a decent amount of money, but it wasn't enough for me to quit my day job. It was just like, you know, some side hustle, maybe, you know, $200 or $300 a week if I was lucky. So the other one that I started was a data entry company. And this one was it was morally and ethically wrong, but it was perfectly legal. And the reason why I did that is because I was a victim. I paid somebody $29.95 to get a package in the mail. And it wasn't even the physical mail. It was the email. And when I opened up that email and read it, it was a long list of things. I mean, maybe 2-3 pages of content. But to sum it all up, it said, ha ha, sucker, do what I just did and you'll make plenty of money. So I was like, oh, these bastards. Right? And then I started thinking like, hold on, I'm intellectual. They got me. I wonder who I can get, you know, and it's perfectly legal. So you duplicate the process. You follow all the instructions that's in the email package that you paid $29.95 for, and you send it out. And next thing you know, I'm making almost $1,000 every couple of months, you know. So one lady, she sent me another email and she said, okay, you know, I talked to my lawyer and he said this is legal, but I just want you to know I spent my last money I had on this and I should have went shopping so I could feed my kids. But something said I got to do this because I need to make money. So I gave her money back and I shut that business down.
Yeah, understandable.
You know, so then my third business, like I told you, was the tile. And that business I had from February of 2007 until pretty much June of 14 last year.
Oh, okay. So just stopped.
Yeah, I just shut it down because while the business is booming and I could easily get back into it, I lost all my good workers and my knees are going out on me. So you know, it's going to take a lot if I want to jump back into that. And if I do it, I want to do it right to make sure that I have some good help and I have all of the things that I need. My reputation and clientele is still there. So that's not an issue. It's just, do I really want to be a tile guy? Do I want to work 14 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week, just being a tile guy?
Yeah, of course.
And I am so much more than a tile guy. Right. But, you know, I was talking to some mentors, and Brother Arthur knows, you know, Brother Seiko. And, you know, we were thinking about, we were talking about all types of different things. And I was thinking about doing something like a trade program where I could teach the youth how to do, you know, remodeling around the home. Not only would it be beneficial to their parents and their family, but, you know, they can make money anywhere in the world. That's the difference between a job and a trade. A job, you make money at that one place that you're at. Once that job is over, you're stuck unless you go to one of their competitors. You know, whereas a trade, once you learn a trade, you'll know how to make that money for the rest of your life or not have to pay somebody else to do what you know how to do.
Mm-hmm. It kind of remind me of the phrase, give a man a fish, you eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, he'll eat forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
so go ahead.
I was saying, I see you had a plethora of businesses, but none of them were super successful. Like they had some kind of ups and some kind of downs. So, tell us some of the things that you learned from your failures throughout the author of those adventures.
Well, the biggest letdown that I had, believe it or not, was in the fact that I was selfish. And what I mean by that is the money that I did make, when I was making the money, I should have reinvested into the business instead of going on cruises and buying cool toys and all types of like that.
Living it up.
It ain't tricking if you got it, you know, but it was a trick. I tricked myself. And now I'm sitting here like, hold on, well, what do I have? You know,
what happened? Yeah.
So I learned from that mistake. I learned to humble myself in finance and try to really just make good use of what I have available to me. It's all about choices.
Yeah, you know.
Another thing that I learned. Yep. Another thing I learned is nobody will work as hard for you for your business as you will.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
So you have to, you know, you can trust somebody, but you can only trust them as far as you can see them. You have to have secondary plans just in case somebody lets you down, because the customer at the end of the day, they don't want to hear your sob story of why you can't get to their house. They took off work and they expected you there. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I learned is keeping a public record of everything you do in business, because if you don't, then those agents that operate in commerce will come to get you. And if you don't have some money, they're going to try to, do human trafficking, like your buddy, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. He got hit up. Don't want to get hit with that one.
Well, he didn't have his records, and claiming his nationality, and trying to become that political, have that political status of tax exempt. He just forgot one simple thing. His face and his body and his voice and his eyes and his essence and everything he is the business. If he wasn't an actor, he wouldn't have went to jail.
I said, explain that a little bit for me.
Okay. If he was, let's say he had a landscape company that was mega big all over the world, some huge landscape company. Okay. He's not the business. He owns the business. He operates it. He ran it, but there's other things to pay. You got to pay your employees. You got to buy some parts and materials, and blah, blah, blah. So after all of that's paid out, you pay yourself. You pay yourself a salary. Okay. Well, you don't call it a salary. You pay yourself wages for your labor. And then whatever's left is called your profit. That is what is taxable. Only your profits are taxable. So if you're paying somebody else, if they want to pay their taxes, that's on them. But you're not a tax agent, so you're not required to withhold it. And I'm talking from a private contractor perspective where you have, people working for you. So being that he's an actor, he doesn't pay anybody. It's only him. There is no overhead. His overhead is making sure he breathes and eats and drinks water. He is the business as an actor. So, or if you were a singer or a musician. So there's nothing for him to write off. So pretty much any money that he makes from being an actor is all profit. Not unless his manager, there's some write-offs. You got your managers and your agents and all of those things. So he chose a profession that he should have been able to, he made enough money. He should have been able to save his percentages and give it to the corporation, that's operating that's handling commerce. You got to pay to play if you're operating in commerce and business.
That's somewhat, now he's like, what the industry normally, I guess now calling solopreneurs.
Yeah. Solopreneurs. Yep. And he should have paid it. He shouldn't have spent all that time in there. He should have went ahead and paid the money. Mm-hmm. But, that's him. There's countless people that are incarcerated for things way less than that. Not paying your child support, reckless driving, what they call driving on a suspended license. These things. People are incarcerated, some for, years. But we're getting a little off topic. I think we wanted to stay on entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurship.
That rabbit hole get kind of deep. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I got to be careful, because, God only gave us 24 hours in a day, and there's no way I can share the information that I have in one phone call or one day or 1 week or not even 1 year. Yeah. But I do understand that the key to life is sharing information so that people don't make the same mistakes and they can evolve spiritually, physically, and economically.
For sure.
That's why we're here interviewing you now.
Yeah, but what do you think it takes to develop and keep an entrepreneurial mind?
The first thing is you have to be fed up with the situation that you're in. Unless you're just born into money, right, and you're born into business and it's handed down to you and it's expected that you keep it over, you still have to have that entrepreneurial mind and spirit, because if not, just because your dad gave you the business doesn't mean it's going to be successful. Yeah. So the key to developing an entrepreneurial mind is wanting to be free financially, not wanting to have to answer to people except your customer, whoever's going to be giving you some money, and being able to set the terms of how much money you're worth. What is your worth? Both of us paint cars, except for I paint cars for $1,000 a car and you do it for $200 a car. I get 10 customers a week. You get 10 customers a week. And you got to ask yourself, man, what am I worth? How come this guy's got the same amount of customers, but he's charging $1,000 and I'm charging $200? And with that, you have to be careful because you don't want to what's called gouge people. You don't want to charge too much, and there's no justification on it. In developing the entrepreneurial mind, you want to be able to have a goal and achieve a goal. So if you have the type of spirit and mind that you're 180 pounds and you need to be down to 160, so you set forth a goal of jogging every day to lose 20 pounds, and you achieve that goal, and it makes you feel good. If you have that kind of will, then you'll be perfect in business.
So
maintaining it and maintaining that spirit is just, having a good circle of people around you. You can't be a loner and isolated. You have to be able to get out and network with people. And if you have the right people around you, it'll motivate you to stay in business, because in business is money. And when you have money, you can help people. They call it philanthropy. Become a philanthropist.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's only that you want to help all of your family,
right?
And hey, who's to call you wrong for that? If that's what you want to do, then hey, get up off your butt, go get a business, make it pop, and do it.
Yeah, they say some of the greatest philanthropists of our time, people like Napoleon Hill, people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, they may be the richest man of their day, but they also are the biggest philanthropists of their day as well. So
yeah, you're absolutely right with that.
Yeah, all of them say that you have to give. All of them do it.
But here's my problem. They all wait till they're about to die to start giving some real money.
Well, this is why we're here so people like you and I can give before we're dead, But we do got him, so.
Absolutely.
So in the story so far, you got us all the way up to 2014, and you stopped doing the towel company. So, I mean, what do you got going on now?
Well, I've got an advertising and marketing company called First Black America. I started that in 2012. It was going on at the same time as my tile company. But because I was running a tile company, I didn't have the time to fully put into FBA, for short, First Black America. So I just kind of built the site in my spare time. Now, up until about 8 months ago, we were the world's top ranked directory. And what I mean by top ranked is no matter what search engine you use, if you were to type in black owned businesses in Norfolk or, African American owned chiropractors in Atlanta, no matter what you typed for, if you put black owned or African American owned, we were on the first page of Google, Yahoo, Bing, Ask, you name it, we were there. But because we didn't have enough business information and data into the databases, people were hitting the site because we're right there at the top of the first page. And then they're mad because they can't find what they're looking for, And then what really hurt us, I mean, we were still top ranked, and, those that were listed with us were getting great results and benefits, and everything was, I didn't have money to really put out a national advertising campaign on television and buses and everything all over.
Right.
So it was word of mouth. And, our people are, when it comes to supporting each other in cooperative economics, we're just now starting to hit a trend of support and making things like that go viral. But when I first started in 2012, it was only like the conscious community that was aware of what we call cooperative economics, supporting your own people, To make a long story short, last year, Google released Penguin. First they released Panda. Panda didn't smack me. Smacked a lot of people, but Panda didn't hurt me. Because what I mean by Panda, it's an artificial intelligence that they release out, a robot, and it crawls all their websites and content, and then it marks points and values, and that affects where you show up on the pages and the search results. So when they released Penguin and they changed some of the algorithms, that hurt our site tremendously. And we went from being, out of all the websites in the world, I had made my way all the way to 132,000 out of all the way. And there's millions upon millions upon millions of websites, billions, if not. So that was a pretty good ranking. And then it went up to 20 million. So now I've, with the redevelopments that I'm doing and changing all of the stuff up, we're back down to, I think 1.3 million right now. So I have to get down to about 200,000 or less to be back on the first pages. But that's no problem because my buddy, he's the president of Black Wall Street Miami. He owns Support Black Owned. SupportBlackOwned.com is one of our partners. We're affiliated. So right now he is the world's #1 Black owned directory. So we tell our, businesses that are listed with us are listed with him. And, this is not about me. First Black America was never about me. All I did was take some initiative to do something, So it doesn't matter if they're in this directory or that directory. If they're in the network, in the family network, people will see them because we promote on Facebook, we promote on Twitter, LinkedIn, on the street, flyer distribution. I mean, we do it all when it comes to supporting and promoting our own people. Now, there's free listings and there's paid listings. We really promote the free stuff. There's over 2 million Black-owned businesses just in America alone. And please forgive me for saying Black, because we're not Black, we're not Negro, we're not colored. I'm just using it because privately amongst our own.
I understand.
Okay. All right. So you know, the thing is that there's no way me or even 15 or 20 of us could do all the data entry and put all of the Black-owned businesses and organizations and churches and all of that content into the database. There's no way we could do it. So what we need people to do is do it on their own. Take 3 minutes out of their busy lives. I mean, God knows we know you're busy.
Right.
Take 3 minutes out of your life. Go to firstblackamerica.com, click on the red button that says free listing, and just put in your business data, and that's it.
Okay.
We'll do the rest for you.
I'm on your site right now. I'm on firstblackamerica.com, and I'm at the add listings section. And on the left-hand side, I see you have a silver, a gold, and a platinum listing as well. Could you tell us more about what they are and what they do? Okay. Well, the more you pay, the more we say thank you. And we do extra for you. Free, we're not going to be able to build hospitals and clinics and education centers and technology centers and have you know what I'm saying? We can't do that with free. Right. So if you give us some money, we'll do more for you. Right now, for free, you can get in the directory and we'll promote you. That's for free. Okay. So imagine what we'll do if you give us some money. Okay, so that's basically what it is. There's different levels of things. The silver is the next step up from bronze. Bronze is the free. The silver plan, it gives you more, when the results show up on the site, on the website, firstblackamerica.com, when the search results show up, featured listings will show up above the free listing. And when you're gold or platinum, you're not only are you featured, but you're sponsored. So that's going to give you front page visibility, which is, you know, the front page is the biggest, that's where most people go to, firstblackamerica.com. And then from that homepage, they start searching and going elsewhere. So homepage or front page visibility is premium advertising. And as you can see, those prices are, you know, some people have $10,000 a year advertising and marketing budget. Some people have $1 million a year advertising and marketing budget. Some people have no advertising and marketing budget. So we want to be able to take care of everyone. And those that have, we certainly could use some money. Cash society. We're in a cash society. We need some cash. And it's not going to line our pockets. It's going to go right back into the community. That's what it is. And we had also developed a independent business owner affiliate marketing program. It's called the FBA IBO program. And what we do is we essentially assign you a number, an affiliate ID, and you go out and you live your life. You do what you do. The only thing is every time you come across somebody that you see that's a Black-owned business or you think it is, you go up and ask them and say, hey, you know, is this your business? Why, yes, it is. Hey, you got a card? Why, yes, I do. You know, and then you can tell them, hey, go to firstblackamerica.com, get listed. You take their card or, you know, and give them your number. So if they go and get listed, you know, then they put down your code. So that way we know where that lead came from. And if you're a smart IBO, you would take that card and you would call them later on and tell them a little bit more about what we do so that you can take his information and put it in yourself. And that way, you know, for a fact, you'll get paid for it. And it's 20% commission starting out. So that means if this guy pays $5 a month, you get $1 a month every month for as long as he stays in there. So it's not a get rich quick thing. It's just meant to kind of funnel money down. But you can imagine now when you sign up an IBO under you. So if you become an IBO and you want to sign somebody up under you, you get 20% of everything that you refer. And every IBO under you, you get 10% of what they do. They get their 20% and you get 10% of that. So it's kind of like an affiliate network marketing program, except there's only one level. If the IBO you sign up under you signs somebody up under him as an IBO, you won't get any of that money from that production. And so it's only one level. Is the IBO program available now? It is. But right now, we don't have the bragging rights that we used to have as far as being the world's top ranked directory. Right. Now we're trying to work out we do have an advertising program that IBOs would love to jump on. We're just trying to develop some videos so that we'll be able to really explain how everything works. Our people are visual nowadays. Just sitting there reading material is not that beneficial. They want to see pictures and hear, videos and hear voice and things like that. So what we have is called the trifecta advertising program. And the trifecta, tri meaning three. That three is FBA, First Black America,
HTN, Our Time Now, and the hour is HOUR. And SBO, Support Black Owned. I already told you SBO is the world's top ranked directory right now. Anytime you do for Black owned or African American owned, you're going to see supportblackowned.com. So we have an ad zone. The ad zone is 200 pixels wide by 400 pixels in height. And we do a custom ad for you. Now your ad will show up on First Black America, Support Black Owned, and Our Time Now. 3 different sites, 3 different networks. And your ad, you can make it geo-targeted. So that means if you have a car wash in Virginia Beach and, you know, you pay for this advertising, you don't want your ad to be showing to somebody in California. You know, it's not going to be beneficial for that guy in California to see your ad about a car wash on Holland Road in Virginia Beach.
Right.
So it's geo-targeted. Your ad will only show to the settings that you have. So you can only have your ad showing to people in the Hampton Roads area or Virginia Beach or, you know, a couple of cities. You can break it down by zip code. You can break it down by country. You can break it down by the time of day. You only want your ad to show between 6 and 8 p.m. It even has more parameters than that, but all you got to do is basically just go to the website and, you know, view our services and just play around with the menu and see what we have available for you. And if anybody has any questions, they can give us a call or send us an email through the contact form, and we'd be more than happy to break it down.
Okay, that's cool. And all your contact information on the website, right?
Yes, it is. Any contact through the contact form will be fine.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is such a great thing. I remember, you know, we were all out there at the Minuteman March on Saturday, which was a great experience. So many people, you know, it was even, you know, different ethnicities out there, you know, everything supporting. But, you know, Farrakhan, he spoke of your exact business. I mean, not by name, but the concept and everything that you're doing. He spoke of that in his speech, you know.
Yes, exactly.
So, and it's great that's what you're building. I mean, you're what came to mind as soon as you talked about it.
You know, that's where it's at. You know, we have to hit them in the pockets. If they're going to respect us as a people, then we have to hit them on their playing field. And their playing field is economic.
Yep.
It's not in military. It's not in all of that. It's in money. Money drives the military. If Uncle Sam loses his money, guess who he loses? His military.
Yeah.
That's how you get things done. That's showing off how they boycotted the buses back in the day, and what happened? Their pockets started hurting. It made a change.
Now, when firstblackamerica.com was the world's top ranked directory, I had tracking software on the site so I could see what people searched for when they landed on our pages. And every time there was, like, you know, when Trayvon Martin verdict came in with Zimmerman and he was found not guilty, that day and 3 days later, the site tripled by like 2,000 to like 2,500%. That's how much increase there was from people searching, you know, for Black owned this and African American owned that. And then as the days went on, it just went right back down to the normal average, you know, and the same Garner, you name it, whoever, you know, as soon as people start talking Blackout Friday or, you know, we need to boycott this, as soon as they start talking about it on social media, the site gets a spike. And then a few days later, it goes back down. I can show this. I still have the snapshots of the pictures on the, you know, on that software because I was putting it out there. I was like, come on, guys. Why does somebody got to get killed in our community for us to support each other?
Yeah, it's terrible. If we can only keep that going consistently.
Yeah, that's the big thing in our community, consistency there. We love to show face for the time being or when it's popular, when it's trending, but after the trend is over, we're looking for that next trend. Like they say, we're looking for that next leader, like always. So consistency is a crazy thing that we need to get a grasp on.
And that's why I love what doing, with the Golden Fold and all these mentoring programs, being consistent in these youth's lives. Because we as adults, there's really not much hope for us. There's a little bit of hope for the the millennials and the mid generation. Mm-hmm. But, for the most part, it's the youth that are going to come up that's going to be running this world. And I'm going to tell you what's a scary thought. When I go down the streets in Huntersville and Tidewater Drive, and if I go down Holland Road and I look at Lynn Haven Parkway and I see my people and I'm looking at them and how they carry and conduct themselves, I'm like, oh my God, what are we in for? What's going to happen?
Yeah, it's going to be terrible.
That is kind of that right. That sentiment right there is kind of why I do what I do. That is why I get up every day. This is why I make my phone calls. I go to work just like you work at the same company. 8:30 to 8:30 to 5. I give them my time, but when I come home, I'm dedicating my time to building my business, building my brand, help making sure these kids have an opportunity to see something different, to be something different, to get exposed to something different, not just what our country's pushing on them and forcing them to be. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, only if, the parents, they would help some and make them turn some of this nonsense off that's honestly brainwashing the youth nowadays, man. Listening to some of this music, seeing lots of these videos, everything is world star. That's all you hear, you know what I'm saying?
And that's crazy how
let me tell you something about World Star. All right, that owner, right? He's a brother.
Mm-hmm.
He makes over $30,000 a day just in the advertising, just on the advertising, just a little pay-per-click advertising.
He is making a killer.
Not to mention, you got to pay $1,000 a day if you want your video on the top of all the pages. You got to give him like $1,000 a day.
Mm-hmm.
He's an entrepreneurial. He's got the spirit, but the thing is that the content of his, what he's pushing out there is, it's contagious and it's a disease.
It is a disease, just really that it is a disease.
I mean, I must commend him though to be smart enough to capitalize on he know people want it and they hungry for it.
Yeah, give them what they want.
But I got to be on the other.
It's killing.
I got to be on the other. I got to be on the other foot and say, what are you doing for the community, man? Like, it really doesn't matter how much money you have if you're not willing to pull somebody up. They say,
Absolutely.
They say we like crabs in a barrel and we all pulling each other down. But you got to look at the other foot and say, who put the crabs in the barrel? So yeah, man.
Well, nationality is the order of the day. Claim your nationality, and then you can be industrious. You can operate in commerce and be privy to all the information. You hear all the time, the private sector this, the private sector that. Well, I'll tell anybody that has a social security card, look at the back of it and read the first sentence. And after that, Google Trilateral Commission and just read. And that should open your eyes and make you have enough questions to dig deeper.
Okay. I've never done that, but I will be doing that as soon as we get off the phone.
Giving the audience some plan of action to go do some stuff. Yeah, dude.
I'm pretty sure lots of people that hear it is probably going to be, they might even pause this and just start searching. As long as they come back and finish listening now.
Right. Don't go
well, if anybody has further questions, or if you feel like, there's a need for more information, I'm available. My Grand Sheik is available. And we have a lot of people available to get on a conference call and explain civics and law and, commerce and how to conduct yourself in commerce and be free.
Okay. So what advice would you give out to the audience or whoever is thinking about starting their own business? How would you recommend that they get started with starting their own business?
Well, the first thing is a thought. That thought is nothing until you make it manifest, and you make it manifest by writing it down. Once you write it down, you look at it and you add on to it and you get it the way you want it and the way you envision it. And then once you have it the way you want it, get up off your butt, you go get a business license and you make it happen.
So is that saying,
depending on what type of business you have,
I was saying, is that saying you think they should start off with a full-on business plan?
It doesn't have to be any kind of crazy structured format. You just have to be able to look at what your thoughts are so that you don't forget them. Because it's not good to sit there for an hour and meditate and brainstorm and get all this stuff in your head, and then your kid comes home because with a bloody nose, and all of that stuff is gone. Right. You got to come back to it. When you write it down, it's there. It's manifest in the physical form. So then the next day you come to it, you can add on to it. You don't have to go back and repeat yourself and figure out what you was thinking before. It's already right there for you. So yeah, a business plan is fine if you want to do it in a structured form. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. The more precise that you are, the better. It's all about the follow through. It doesn't do any good for you to write it all down and then do nothing. You have to have the follow through. Depending on what type of business you have, I would say for anybody who's thinking about business and it's complex and it's going to take, $200,000 to get off the ground, then, you have to look at where you're going to get that money from. I'll tell you, the government gives, I think something like $2.4 billion every year to business development and growth. And that's why they came up with the LGBT community as a ethnic gender, is because now they can apply for those minority grants. So before, if you were a white woman, you're already a woman, you're already minority owned, so you can get that money. If you're black, woman or man, you're so-called black, you're a minority, you can get that money. So it was for the white man couldn't get that money. So the white man said, well, how can I get this money? Well, let me play like I'm gay. Now I can get that money.
You know, the good thing about that is, you know, to make it even better, I was reading the article today. There's a African businessman. I cannot remember his name, but he's an African. This man's a billionaire, and I guess he met with Obama, talked with him. They had a summit out in Washington D.C., and I mean, he gave $100 million. You know what I'm saying, to like fund businesses and business owners that are African American and African owned here in the United States. Mm-hmm. I mean, their big thing was they want to, you know, bridge the gap between Africans and you know, the African Americans here. So between actually Africa itself. So they want to close the gap and start to connect a lot more across the water. And, you know, I guess.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really is. It really, really is. I mean, because, you know, Africans are proud people. They're proud. And they're.
Yes, we are.
You know, and I mean, granted, I'm not African. I'm African American. I am an American. I was born here. But, you know, I do have that coursing through my blood. You know, my ancestors were from there. And it's good to learn about that and about them. And I think, you know, that'll help make us closer. I think that's one of the things he's working on, and they want to bring us together a lot more.
Right. Well, we don't need the government to do that. You know what I'm saying? We the people forget the hierarchy of God and the hierarchy of man. You know, God created man, man created government. So if you want to engage in, you know, transcontinental commerce, if you want to deal with Pan-Africanism, then you don't need Uncle Sam to get involved. Just go do it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
like Marcus Garvey, you know, go ahead.
That's kind of one thing Farrakhan was saying yesterday at the Saturday at the march. If you want to change your name, just change your name. You don't have to go through the government and all that extra stuff just to change your name, because they gave you the name. That's not your name anyway. So
exactly, it's titles of nobility that you need to carry, and you know, it's your ancestral birthright. So that's a whole nother conversation, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, brother.
I see we starting to go there now. Huh?
How they say it, and I digress. Let's bring it back.
Well, I definitely appreciate the opportunity to share, you know, a little bit with the public. And if anybody wants to contact me, again, my name is Justice Will-Iam Bey. I'm on Facebook, Justice Will-Iam Bey. You know, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. You just Google First Black America. Go to firstblackamerica.com. You know, I'm also the president of Black Wall Street, Virginia, and that's another entity. It's a global entity. It started out in California, but then it grew to national all across America. And now we have Black Wall Street Africa, Black Wall Street Ghana, Black Wall Street, you know, countries in Africa, Black Wall Street Europe. Then we have Black Wall Street Amsterdam, countries in Europe. We even have Black Wall Street Japan. So that right there is a global entity. Membership is $65 a year. That money goes to great use. And if you want to network with professionals globally of our, you know, ethnic ancestry, then I would definitely recommend getting in touch with blackwallstreet.org.
So before we let you go, there is 2 books that you recommend that the audience might want to pick up and put their head in one day.
Well, one would definitely be The Art of War, you know, by Sun Tzu.
Right.
That is a very good book to read. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that can be applied to anything in your life, anything at all, especially business. Another book that I would recommend reading is How to Eat to Live, because most people live to eat. They like the flavors of all this bad stuff, you know. So if you want to be productive in life and have a successful business and reap the rewards for a long time, you might want to stay alive. So diet isn't what we are, what we eat. You know, if you get your spirit up and you're eating the right things, it'll give you the energy and the motivation to fulfill your dreams.
And that's who's that by? Joel Furman?
No, this particular book I'm talking about is going to be by Elijah Muhammad.
Okay, all right. I see it here.
How to Eat to Live.
I mean, put down the fried chicken. No more farm fresh, man. Y'all from both from this area. You know that farm fresh chicken.
Get your time, man. All right, so my last question for you is, not a question, but give us a quote that you want to leave the public with. One of your favorite quotes that gets you through.
Okay, well, my favorite quote is, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. Make it count."
Hey, brother, I like it. I like it a lot.
Justice, man, thanks for coming in and talking to us today, talking to the guests and everyone. I mean, you dropped a lot of good stuff, whole lot of good stuff, and we really,
my
really
pleasure. It's my honor.
it.
Hey, no problem. Like I said, it's my pleasure, and it's been a great honor to share with you, gentlemen. And I appreciate what you're doing for the community. And definitely, please keep up the good work. Don't forget to list your business data and the blog show on the site so people will be able to tune in.
Definitely, most definitely.
We'll definitely do that.
Yeah, Justin, man, we'll keep in touch. I'm going to see you around a whole lot. We're moving in some of the same circles. I'm bumping into a bunch of shoulders nowadays, so.
Absolutely.
I will be seeing you around, brother.
All right. God bless, gentlemen.
All right, peace, brother.
Peace.